What is going on, fellas? Just got done watching the PSG game. Let's go! We won Liverpool, man. Y'all so ass. Fun fact, man, I am not a soccer fan, but dude, whenever there's some Paris, my family, my dad is from France, so I'm just a full-on French fan. Go into Liverpool after we definitely should have won the first leg. Come in and win on pens, bro. Usman Dembele, I want to just come here right now. This is not the topic of the video. Today I wanted to talk about the $12,800 loss I took today on NQ. This was around 10:30, right before I decided to get off. I saw a decent short entry and decided to go for it. Now, there was a lot of things that came into this kind of recollection of ideas for my entry. Was overall, you know what, I'm just going to leave my camera. I kind of like my camera stuck in the middle of this. So what happened was we obviously came into the day pretty bullish. You guys can see pre-market wasn't the best. I would say slightly bearish pre-market. You guys can see we kind of consolidated right before market opens up, showed some bottom wicks, potential buying. Boom, see this nice big buying influx come in, approach this high and started to fall off after. Looking at this from this perspective is I really like to see two things, okay? For the short side is obviously coming in bearish or coming in bullish and, you know, obviously mirroring off of that falling. We're falling off of that. We are no longer bearish. There's a couple things I like to see before I like to switch trend, because usually the 9:30 open will predict a lot of stuff for me. If I see this coming in pretty bullish, so it'll give me signs of, hey, I probably want to see this going up. I probably want to continue this. But as we see, we make an initial high here. At that point, then price falls off. And again, this is on the 2-minute, just kind of watching the intraday price action move. Price rises back above, gets all that liquidity from the high, comes all the way back down, closes, and then this massive sell-off ensues. Okay, so that is obviously a really good sign for bears, is seeing price get above the high, completely reject it, close, and then sell off of that right into the 9:30 low, break underneath the 9:30 low, push above. And this just shows you, look at all the manipulation we had today. And looking back at this is so interesting. And if you guys don't journal your trades, I highly recommend this. So we made a 9:30 high right here, and we made a 9:30 low, and watch how price comes down, breaks right above it, then completely comes right back inside the range and then inverses itself. Right here, same thing. This is the 9:30 low we had. Look at this. Price comes right down to it, breaks underneath it, comes right back up, closes, pushes right back into the range. Then it just consolidated, right, comes right underneath it, finally breaks the low that we created, and I was looking for shorts at that point going forward. But look at how interesting that is to see we have the high and the low get established, and then both times we break above, instantly sell off, push down to the opposite side. Same thing happens here. Pushes down really fast, breaks below the low, comes right back up, closes within the range, and then keeps pushing back up. That just shows you there is some manipulation going on here. Price is pretty choppy. This was the range we were stuck in for the day, and I decided to wait like a good boy and wait for actual signs of a potential continuation off of that, targeting even down to this low right here. But once we got underneath this and once we closed, and this is the candle close on the 2-minute with a decent top wick as well, fighting back into this low we created, coming right back in, boom, selling off, closing below where the candle opened, obviously with a pretty nice bottom wick, and just looking for a continuation of the trend. Pretty bearish trend going out so far. A lot of sells coming into the market. Market's been super bearish the last couple of weeks just because Donald Trump will not shut his mouth. He's literally ruining millions and millions and millions of people's retirement. I'm very upset with you, Donald Trump, but I didn't advocate for you to be president for this. At this point going forward, and also these candles have been huge. Like when I'm trading on the 2-minute, I'm usually seeing around 20, 30 point candles. These candles have been 40, 50, 60 points. I usually like to trade in the 5 and the 15, but you can't because of how big the points are. And I could just size down, but it's just something I've been experimenting with, just going to the shorter time frames because I'm very comfortable going across multiple and just kind of picking whichever one I like the best for the day. And today I thought it was the 2-minute. You guys can see here again, clear range set up. Swept the high, push down, swept the low, push back up, break the range finally. Now I'm looking for a continuation outside of that range. And that's exactly what we shot for today. And you guys will see within one click of a button. Oh, it looked good. I was like, oh, let's go. Like, we're going to get rich. Come on, man. And then boom, Drake candle got me stopped out. And this is where I really want to start to actually kind of break things down a little bit and experiment, and it's just going to take some time for me to really do and get way more kind of I don't know what I want to do right now, because this is something that's really tricky and I'm kind of in between fixing it. Is I'm a little too aggressive with my entries, and I'm scalping, so it's okay, but I'm really looking at kind of trading short time frame but bigger moves, if that makes any sense. Because right now you see this obviously happens, boom, we come back in and then we see the sell off, and then as what you guys see what happens, we actually hit TP. Now the issue is, of course, if I were to have an actual higher SL, I don't know if we would have hit TP or not. We would have got stopped out anyways. But this is something that I'm kind of experimenting with so far. With a potential change is, obviously I've always been tried to include my supply zones in my and my demands, of course, into my strategy, but it's hard sometimes because you guys know this is stuff that changes. This is stuff that is extremely, depending on what's happening during the day, that time, what's going on right that second. Sometimes the zones are 20 points, sometimes the zones are 80. So it really gets to a point where there's not a lot of, I guess, repetition. The system is the same, but the repetition is different. So that could really affect your mental sometimes. It's a lot easier to trade off a 20-point zone than an 80-point zone because you're what you're getting into. You're not going to lose as much. When you trade off an 80-point zone, it's going to take a lot longer. You could lose a lot more, but you potentially could make more, of course. And that's just kind of trusting in your setup, and that's something that if I were to experiment with, it would take a while for me to understand that. But you guys can see is like I want to trade off of these areas because I believe this is where price is expected to actually show some selling in general. If I'm trading off of in this case, a supply zone, I'm expecting the supply to be down here. I don't want to see this selling off of course I do want to see this selling off down here, but I'm expecting the big sell orders, a lot of the big buyers keeping this down, to be in here. That's why we have our stop loss in this area. So if I were to trade off of a zone like this, where we clearly have some previous buyers that have now been broken that will now inverse into sellers. And you guys can see, look at all the top books inside this range. Very good to see on my end. Once again, this was not my original setup. I was just trading off of this individual candle, and it's just not, I'm not giving myself enough room is what I've kind of realized. And that could be a really big issue as well, is just because, I'm going so short term, with how price is moving. I really think that's my biggest issue right now is I'm trading like it's December still, and price action is getting better, I will say, but we're actually seeing price move a lot clearer now. We're seeing price move very consistently, and what's happening is that these candles are so big that the volatility is obviously going to increase, meaning I am way easier and way more likely to get wicked out than I am back in the day because everything is changing now. So I'm looking at actually sizing down, and actually I'm kind of in a process right now of good look at down the line actually getting into more of a smaller position size, bigger trades. I mean, that would be ideal for me. Is I'm just losing a little too much right now, and I only trade with one mini. So in reality, that's not a lot, but it's not a little. It's just a little too much for me. Like, I don't want to lose 12K on a day like this. Like, I don't feel like I deserve to lose 12,000 on this trade. And that's just, again, it comes with the amount of accounts you have. It just comes with the experience of scaling as a trader. But it's been very hard, to deal with these big losses like this and just have to shrug them off. That's still a giant number. I would want, if I had a $12,000 day, I don't want to have like a crazy, crazy day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd want to be really, really well and really happy with the day I had. Like, 12,000 should not be, a normal day for me. And that's why I think I need to size down. It's just, I would much rather enjoy this and be a lot less, stressed out about, maybe if I can make $3,000 a day, like that's kind of what I've came to, is like, I just need to slow down. There's no point in having to spend so much time and commit so much position to these trades, is because I'm just scalping, bro. Like, I don't want to be having to make this much money. I don't need to make $10,000 a day. That's just very unrealistic for me and very, I'm just not ready for it. I've been trading for a very long time, and I've gotten way better at just scaling up as a trader throughout time. And it's just getting to the point where the numbers are so big that I just need to calm down for a minute. And if I can make $1,000 a day, like, that would be very realistic for me, and that'd be a great approach. Now, of course, I'd probably want to shoot for a little bit higher than that, but this is something that you do need to have a conversation with yourself at some point when you do get to this point where you're very comfortable trading. You have a lot more conscious taking trades. You're a lot more consistent. Everything changes. The market is changing drastically. Trump has really kind of thrown a wrench in my ideas and in my mix, and he's thrown it into everybody. I talk to a lot of people, a lot of my close friends that are really nice and professional traders. They've been having some issues too, just with all the unpredicted moves that Trump is just constantly saying stuff. Trump's constantly doing stuff, and I understand it. The political switch is always going to be a little bit rough, but Trump is just one to speak a lot. It really just puts a really bad taste in my mouth just having to watch these bad days happen and just know that Trump is just kind of causing some problems, and it's the easy out right now to say, he's ruining my trades. But in reality, it's more than that. I just need to focus on my execution and just being more consistent again from an approach standpoint, but also, making sure that I'm trading off of the price action that is given to me for the day. It's very important. Again, I like to wait till around 10 o'clock most days just because I can still see 30 minutes of PA up to that point and understand, hey, what is the current trend? What is currently going on? How is price moving? The size of the candles? What should I expect to going into a trade? What type of range do we have? Those are all things that I kind of really like to look for, just to give myself the best idea for a potential move. And again, a continuation, because that's what we get paid to do, right? So I guess going forward, that's the big thing for me. I hope you guys are doing good, man. I pray that every single one of you guys, just because you're not seeing the results right now, but even if you're making some progress or something start to click, this video, me making this video and just talking about this right now, just gives me some ideas. It gets my brain, moving, and that's so important to me. Is just kind of always keeping my brain fired, always staying humble and staying locked in. Anything like that is always going to help you improve. If you want to get to do this more and you want to get more consistent, please join the Discord, apply in my bio below. I will literally reach out to you, talk to you, make sure this is the right thing for you. Trade live with us every day, get access to all my strategies, seminars, all this fun stuff. Join the best community in the world. But more than anything, again, I just hope you're doing good. I love you so much. Please subscribe, and I will see you guys so soon. Wish me luck, man, and I hope you guys are doing good luck to you. Wish me luck, man, and good luck to you, obviously, because this cannot keep happening, man.